गुरुरेव घति गुरुमेव भजे गुरुनैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरुः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरो मम पाहि गुरो सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेदमपेदकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकादर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेतः। सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः। We are seeing Srimad Bhagavata Mahapurana and we are seeing Canto 5 in Srimad Bhagavata Mahapurana. And in my last video, we saw the first 3 chapters of Canto 5 and we saw the line of one of the son of Swayambhuva Manu, Priyavrata, King Priyavrata and his lineage. We are seeing his lineage. And King Nabhi and Meru Devi, they worshipped Bhagavan Sri Hari with many rituals. And Bhagavan Sri Hari was pleased by the worship of King Nabhi as well as the priest who performed the rituals, and he appeared before them. And the priest, they said that this king Nabhi, he wants a offspring just like you, equal to you, so that they will be very happy and will be blessed in their life. And Bhagavan Sri Hari said, it is not possible to have any person equal to me because there is only one, that is me, and no one is equal to me. But I will be born as the son of King Nabhi as my Amsha Avatara. My Amsha Avatara will be born as the son of King Nabhi. This assurance Bhagavan Sri Hari gave to King Nabhi and the priest who performed the rituals, that is the yajna, and he disappeared before from their vision. And as said by Bhagavan, Meru Devi and King Nabhi, they had a very beautiful son. And that infant, that young child, it had all the auspicious marks of Bhagavan Sri Hari under its feet. That is the mark of Vajra, Angusha, the lotus flower, all that marks which we see under the feet of Bhagavan Sri Hari, all that were present in this young child, under the feet of that young child, because it is the Amsha Avatara of the Bhagavan, isn't it? So it had all that auspicious marks. And from the very young age itself, that child was so pious, expert in learning Vedas and teaching Vedas to his friends. And he was equal minded towards everything. He never saw any difference between anyone. And he never saw the difference between himself and Bhagavan, because it is the Amsha Avatar of Bhagavan, isn't it? And King Nabhi and Meru Devi, they gave name to this child as Rishabha. So this young Rishabha was so much liked by all the people. He was so pious, a very good Brahmana. And the lakshya of this Amsha Avatara of Bhagavan is to teach how to lead the Grahastha way of life, and in the end, how to live as a Paramahamsa. That is the Amsha Avataras. That is the lakshya of that is the goal of this Amsha Avatara of Bhagavan. But according to that, he led a very peaceful and very pleasant life, and he showed to his people how to lead the Grahastha way of life. And after some time, King Nabi gave the power of rulership to his son Rishabha, and he retired to Badrinatha, and there he performed a tapas, and he merged in that supreme consciousness. This young Rishabha, that is, he is now the king Rishabha. He married a very beautiful woman, Jayanti, and they both had 100 sons. And the eldest of that son's name is Bharata. And Bhagavata says that Yesham kalu mahayogi bharado jeshtah sreshta guna asidene varsham bharatamidi vyabhadishanti. The eldest son name was Bharata, and he was Sreshta Guna. He had all that noble characters, excellent in nature, and he was very soft, pious. He is a very good Brahmana. And till then, this land was known as Ajnaba Varsha. After his rule only, it came to be known as the Bharata Varsha, which is still now that name is there. Only the Britishers, when they came to India, they changed the name as India. But the original name of India is Bharata Varsha, isn't it? That's how we are referred. This land is referred in the scriptures and all. So after his rule only, that came this land has came to be known as the Bharata Varsha, because so perfect was that person, that king. He was so noble, and he learned the Vedas. He was such a great person, and all his other sons were also so noble and pious, and they all learned Vedic scriptures. They are all excellent Brahmanas. They can be said as the very good Brahmanas, very noble in nature. All the other sons of King Rishabha were also very good. And the Avatara Lakshya of King Rishabha is to teach the world the perfect way of Grahastha way of life, as well as the Paramahamsa way of life. Many people do not use the Grahasthasrama in a proper way. And Grahasthasrama is not a life for undisciplined enjoyments. That's what King Rishabha want to tell the people. His subjects were also very noble, so they understood what King Rishabha said. King Rishabha said that this Grahastha way of life is to practice the Vedic scriptures and to lead life according to Dharma. One can attain all that artha and kama, but perfectly following dharma. One should not lead the life other than dharma. But nowadays, what many people do is they just forget about dharma and lead the life only to earn artha and kama. But that is what not King Rishabha taught his subjects. He taught that Grahastha way of life, or the Grahastha asrama, it is the first step to go to liberation, because to get this body itself is a great, we have to do a lot of punya to get this body. If we get this body, we have to use it in a perfect way. So King Rishabha showed his subject the right way of using the Grahastha ashrama. And he used this Grahastha way of life to learn the scriptures, to follow dharma, and by following dharma, he earned artha and kama and all that. So he taught the people how to lead the Grahastha way of life. And in one of his addresses in the assembly of sages, he emphasized this point. And this sermon, that is the address of the Rishabha, King Rishabha, to the great sages of Bharatavarsha, they are known as, it is famously known as the Rishabha Gita, or the sermon of King Rishabha. He said that, Nayam deho deha bhajam driloke kashtan kaman arhate vidbhujam ye तपो दिव्यं पुत्रकायेन सत्वं शुद्धयेद्यस्मात् ब्रह्म सौख्यं त्वनन्तं. He said that this body should not be used only to satisfy the five senses. It should not be used for sense gratification alone. Because even the animals, when they get a body, they use it to satisfy their senses. That is, they use that body only to eat, only to sleep, and only they take care for their sense gratification. A human body should not be used only for that. It should be used for to attain the spiritual evolvement. It should be used for the spiritual evolvement, because getting this human body itself is very rare. And once when we get this human body, it should be a perfect body without any much diseases or anything. Then if we in that situation, we have to use this body to for the spiritual development, and not only for the sense gratification. We can use it on the dharmic way, but not only for sense gratification. Use it, one must use it for upliftment of the spiritual evolvement also. One should use it for spiritual evolvement, and for that one should have the association with holy men. Only then we can understand all this. If we have association with the worldly minded people, then they will degrade us. So the association with the holy men is very important, said King Rishabha in that assembly of sages. Ishe mayi krida sauhrudartha cha te mahantah. The holy men are so much praised because they have love and attachment towards Bhagavan. They do not have any worldly desires, or they do not use the they do not live only for sense satisfaction. They use their life to attain me, or to have their life is turned towards me. So the holy men are so great, and the bhaktas are so great for me, said King Rishabha. And they said that a person who used this life only to satisfy his five senses, he will never understand his spiritual value or his spiritual nature. His life will go on only for completely dedicated to satisfy the five senses. And what happens is, when we concentrate too much on satisfying our five senses, then we tend to do mistakes, and we do papas, the same rebirth we get. So it goes on and on. So what is the purpose of taking the birth again and again without any spiritual involvement? It goes on like that. So one must use this body to understand the self, to understand the reality of our nature. If they spend the body and time only for the senses, then there will be no spiritual involvement in them. They keep on taking birth after birth, and in each birth they tend to do some papas and punyas, and according to that they get birth. It will be so boring. एवं मन कर्मवशं प्रयुङ्क्ते अविद्ययात्मन्युबधीयमाने प्रीतिर्न भावन्मयि वासुदेव न मुच्यते देहयोगेन तावत्. So due to avidya, a person think that this atma is the body and mind. So now if we ask, what we say is, who are you? We have a name for this Rupa, and we have, by this mind, we might have got some qualification and some job. So we identify with that. Who are you? I am so and so. We identify with the body and the mind. But for the worldly life, it is okay. We have to identify with it. But inside, we must know that I am not this body and mind, I am this Atma. This conviction very strongly should be established in a person. That's what King Rishabha says. Maybe for the Vyavaharika life, that is the transactional reality, we need this identification of the body and mind, or otherwise we cannot survive in this world. But inside, we must know that I am not this body and mind, I am this Atma. This conviction one must have, says King Rishabha. And karmavasam prayunkte, they keep on, if they identify with the body and mind, then they keep on doing the action till when? Yavat vasudeva mayi na pritihi tavat deha yogena na muchyate. Till one have devotion towards Bhagavan, Vasudeva, till then they will come again and again, take rebirth again and again by this wrong identification. And if a man fail to understand that the actions of the body and mind are not for the Atma doesn't do any action. The body and mind, they perform the action. It is exclusively for the body and mind. But what we think is it is for the Atma. But we know somewhere that I am not this body and mind. That's why we say my body and my mind. It is not I. We never say that I am this body. It is my body, we say. My body has pain. And my mind is so sad. So, somewhere we have this idea, but we are not sure of it. We identify with this body and mind. If we have completely identified with the body and mind, then what we will say, it is I am this body, we will say. But we never say that, isn't it? It is my body has some pain. My mind is disturbed. So that means we own this body and mind and we are not this body and mind. But somewhere we have this idea, but we are not clear, or we may not have, this idea is not established in our mind. That is the greatness of the human birth. Even an ignorant person will tell that, but this idea is not well established in his mind. So that's a small difference there. So Bhagavan Rishabha says that whoever identify with this body and mind and think that this body and mind is the Atma and superimpose that action of the body and mind on the Atma, then he will not have any spiritual upgradation and he will keep on taking birth again and again. He very clearly says that as long as a man fails to understand that the actions of his body and mind are not the actions of the Atma, till then he is unaware of his spiritual nature, because we all are divine. Even any low grade animals or insects or everything is divine. They do not have the opportunity to understand it. Human birth has the opportunity to understand it, but in spite of that, we are not willing to understand it and we are not aware of our spiritual nature. So, because of this ignorance only, we have this ahankara, I, mine, all this ahankara we have. And this ahankara is the continuation of our past karmas. According to our papa and punya only, this ahankara will be prominent in our life. If we have done a lot of papas, then this ahankara will be very prominent. So it is based on our past actions, and one must have the satsang with the holy man. And King Rishabha, that is Bhagavan Rishabha, gives a lot of importance for the holy man. And he says that all this wrong identification, misidentification will gradually go when we have acquaintance with the holy man, or when a person do service to me, bhakti to me. By that also it will, by time, all this wrong identification will leave our mind. One should see the equanimity in mind. All the dualities of the nature, one must be able to tackle it by pure austerity. We must understand that all the worldly matters, they have a tinge of sufferings in it. One must understand it and must see the other way for it. Then we will see that no, I am not this body and mind. Only this mind has all these difficulties. I am this Atma. We will come to understand. So we have to analyze all the worldly experiences. Then dedication of the work to Bhagavan, that is Karma Yoga. Hearing and reading about the excellences of Bhagavan. Studying scriptures. Restraint in speech, very important. We should not use this power of words or this power of sound to speak unnecessary words, and we should not misuse it, because this sound is given to us to sing the excellences of Bhagavan, to tell about Bhagavan. But we can use it, but in the worldly life only that we cannot survive with that. So we can use it in the other way, but not very much. King Rishabha says, because he gives equal importance for grahastha way of life also. And he also says that one must understand the presence of Bhagavan in everything, because all these forms are only external. In essence, all these forms are divine. So one must understand it. One must have the firmness, determination, and forbearance. And only then we can understand the presence of Bhagavan in everything, says King Rishabha. And he says that the ahangara, one must understand the nature of atma and must live detached from this ahangara, because the ahangara is the seed for all the evil tendencies. When we have ahangara, we do papa. So one must understand it, says King Rishabha. King Rishabha, or Bhagavan Rishabha, we can say, he says that this Atma Vidya, or this basic thing about Atma, a father should teach his son, a guru should teach his Sishya, and a king should teach his subjects. In the first go, maybe they will not understand it. The students or the child or the subjects may not understand it. But the teacher or the father or the king must have a patience to mold them in this way. They must make the children or the Sishya or the subjects to understand this basic Atma Tattva. That is, we must understand that I am not this body and mind, I am this Atma. One must have that, at least give this basic understanding about Atma. But because this is the core and the essence of the Brahma Vidya itself. And King Rishabha goes to the extent to say that if a father does not advise his son or teach his son about this Atma Vidya, then he is not a father at all. If a teacher does not give this Vidya to his shishyas, then he is not a teacher. If a husband does not give this Vidya to his wife, then he is not a husband. So, a person who does not understand this, or who does not give this Vidya to others, he is not a human being itself, because one has to make others or help others to understand this basic concept of human life. It is for this purpose we have taken this human life. If we do not help others to evolve spiritually, then our life itself is a waste, says King Rishabha. And now King Rishabha or Bhagavan Rishabha, we can say both ways, because King Rishabha is the Amsha avatar of Bhagavan Sri Hari. Bhagavan Rishabha says about himself, Idam shariram mama durvibhavyam satvam hi me hrudayam yatra dharmaha prishte kruto me yada dharma arad ato hi mam vrishabam prahrurarthaha. Mama shariram, mama idam shariram durvibhavyam. No one understands about the nature of this body, says King Rishabha. Mama hridayam sattvam hi. My hridaya, my nature is of sattvic nature. Yatra dharmaha, wherever there is dharma, yet adharma arat me prishte kritaha. I will chase the adharma from there. So wherever there is dharma, I will chase adharma, means I will not give place for adharma to evolve there, says King Rishabha. Adahi artaha. So the great men, that is the great people and all that elder people, Mam Rishabam Prahuhu, they call me as Rishabha. Rishabha means best among the one, or the very noble among all. So that's the right meaning of Rishabha. Because when I see dharma anywhere, I chase adharma from there. So people call me, because of this noble nature, they call me as Rishabha, says Bhagavan Rishabha. And he tells about the greatness of holy men. As I said, King Rishabha gives a lot of importance for holy men, because it is by the holy men we can understand our real nature, or otherwise we will not be able to understand it, isn't it? So the holy men are very great according to King Rishabha. King Rishabha says that among all beings, that beings that have life are more important than that inert objects like a stone or a rock. More than that, a plant and all, they are important and great. They are great. And more than that, the beings that have consciousness, that is like animals and all, they are great than this immovable beings. And more important than animals are that human beings, because they have that power to understand the reality of life or the reality of their own self. So they are great. More great than them are the celestial beings like the Apsaras, Gandharvas, the Pitars, and all that. And more greater than them are the Asuras. They have this unique power, but they have cruelty, so they are more powerful than this celestial beings. And more powerful than the Asuras are the Devas. And more powerful than the Devas are the sons of Brahma, the Prajapatis. And more powerful than them is Brahma Deva, who is the devotee of Bhagavan Sri Hari. And Bhagavan Vishnu or Rishabha, the partial avatar of Bhagavan Vishnu, Bhagavan Rishabha says that I am the devotee of the holy men. See, that is, Brahmadeva is the devotee of Bhagavan and Bhagavan is the devotee of holy men, because these holy men, they always worship me not for any gain or attaining anything. They worship me because they want to know their reality, so they worship me out of love and out of affection, and they do not ask me anything, and they are very calm, very pious. They have this atma vidya. They worship the atma. By that way they worship my presence everywhere. So that's what Bhagavan likes very much. When we worship the Atma, which implies that we are worshipping the presence of Bhagavan in all beings. So we are worshipping the entire universe in a way. So that Bhagavan likes very much. So the holy men do that, and so I like the holy men. They are very calm. They do not see any difference between themselves or others, or between different beings. So by all this nature, the holy men are definitely greater, he says, King Rishabha. Now, King Rishabha wanted to show the people the Paramahamsa way of life. So what he did was he gave the kingdom and everything in the hands of his eldest son Bharata, and he left the palace without taking anything. Only the body he carried. He went outside the palace and he wandered the length and breadth of Bharatavarsha. He walked everywhere and he was not aware of his body and mind itself. He was not aware of this body. So he didn't take care of the body. He cared less to clean it, or he cared less to keep it safe, or he was not aware of it, what to do. He was only aware of Atma. So he wandered here and there. But this ignorant people, evil minded people, they mistook him as a madman and they disturbed his body very much. They threw stones on him and they poured water on him. They did not allow him to sit in a place for some time. But all the time, he was not aware of all this. He was aware only of the Atma. But the people misunderstood him and they did not understand his value and mistreated him in all ways. Very, Bhagavata says it, so many cruel ways they disturbed him. But he felt that this people, this land, is not aware of the spiritual nature. That's what he understood. They were not aware of the spiritual nature of man, and they were not aware of this yoga or spirituality, anything. He understood that, and he thought that why to wander here and there. And so he settled in a place, and he walked on all the Dakshina Karnataka region. And at one time, he came to that mountain called Kudakadri. And under a tree in that mountain, under a tree, he sat there and meditated, was completely merged in Atma. He was not aware of the body, or he was not aware of him. Because of that, all that dirt and mud, everything settled on his body, and his hair became matted hair. And he was not aware of all that. He was completely absorbed in the Atma, and he was sitting like that in that mountain called Kudagadri in the Dakshina Karnataka region. And at one time, because of the rubbing of the two bamboo trees, that broke out a forest fire, and that fire consumed all the trees and that entire forest, along with the holy body of Bhagavan Rishabha. His body was also burned in that forest fire. So the avatara lakshya of King Rishabha, or rather Bhagavan Rishabha, is to show the people the right way of grahastha and to set an example to the rishis and sages how to live as a paramahamsa. And that is the ultimate teaching of King Rishabha. He also made people understand that this Vedas does not teach only about the yajnas and rituals. The ultimate aim of the Vedas is Brahma Vidya, or to merge in Bhagavan, to attain mukti. And the rishis say, Aho bhuva sapta samudravatya दीपेषु वर्षस्वति पुण्यमेतत् गायन्ति यत्र त्यजना मुरारेः कर्माणि भद्राण्यवधारवन्ति. There is among all the dweepas, this Jambu Dweepa, and that too, this Bharata Varsha is the Punya Bhumi, or it is so auspicious because that Bhagavan, who is universal, he takes avatara in this Punya Bhumi, Bharata Varsha only. And the people here sing about his excellences and always think about Bhagavan. Where else do they connect with this universal consciousness? Nowhere. Even if they practice, what they practice is what they have learned from this Bharata Varsha, from the scriptures and all that. They may practice in a modified way, but originally only in this Bharata Varsha, these people here have that capacity to meditate and understand that universal consciousness, as well as to sing. Only here, the Bhagavan has taken so many avatars. So many avatars he has taken only in Bharata Varsha. And the people here till now, even in modern times, majority of the people, they dedicate their life in bhakti and all this puja. In one way or other, we all practice this Atma Vidya, isn't it? It may be a very beginning stage, or it may be an advanced stage. In one way or other, we practice this Atma Vidya. And the Bhagavata says the line of Priyabrata is also very holy and auspicious, because in his line only was born Rishabha Bhagavan, who taught the way of Paramahamsa and the right way of Grahasthasrama. So with this ends chapter 6 and the story of Rishabha Bhagavan. In my next upload, I will continue with the story of King Bharata. Om Namo Narayana Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.